Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up Demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm taking part in a blog hop, and this is the card that I have created. It's very much out of my comfort zone and very green, but I really love the colours put together. We have Granny Apple Green, Old Olive and Mint Macaron. And in this card we're using some of the new products in the Occasions catalogue and the Celebration catalogue. So let's bring those products in and I'll give you a quick look at them. First off, we have the Butterfly Gala stamp set, and I also used the Butterfly Duet Punch. These two items can be purchased together and you can save yourself 10%, which is a fantastic savings. The next item we have used is the Dot to Dot embossing folder, and this is really pretty as well. That's going to be popular. And the last thing, which is a celebration item, which is a free item. So for $90 you get to choose a free item out of the catalogue. And this is organdy ribbon. You get 5 spools in the pack, and there's 4.6 meters in each spool. So we have Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, Balmy Blue, Grapefruit Grove and Highland Heather. So for $90 you get all of these spools of ribbon, which is a really fantastic savings. We're also using the stitched all around bundle, and I'm just using this framelit die here. Inks for today are Mint Macaron and Old Olive, so there's not a lot of inking involved, it's just using these two inks. So I have my card kit here all ready to go, and the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog, and that's in the description of this video. There's also a link to my online store where you can purchase all your Stampin' Up supplies if you live in Australia. If you do live in Australia and would like to purchase through me, please pop in that Hostess Code for the month, which is in the description, and I'll send you out a free gift. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to bring the big shot in first because we're just going to do a little bit of the die cutting and some embossing, and then we can start some stamping. This die here is very intricate, and I've found what's easier for me is using the precision plate with this die. So I'm just going to place that down. I have the precision plate down. I'm going to pop one of the cutting pads on top, and I'm just going to run that through a couple of times. That's cut quite well there, so that should be fine. Just going to open up my platform. Okay, so I have my piece of Granny Apple Green, which is my card front, and my embossing folder here. I'm just going to place this in, and I'm putting it side on, just like that. The part with the spine is going to go into the big shot first. So let's place the cutting pad on top, and we're just going to run that through. And look at the great detail in that embossing folder. I'm just going to pop this die out. And you want to be very careful, you don't want to break any of the edges. They come out really well. I'm just going to pop out those little pieces. You can use your die brush as well to quickly get those out. But I find this one actually comes out really easy if you use the precision plate. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bring in the larger piece of Whisper White and the Old Olive piece, and they're the pieces that we're going to stamp. So I'm going to bring in my mat. I just have my piercing mat. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so you're really going to want to use that. With the Old Olive piece, we're going to bring in the Old Olive stamp pad. And we're just going to use that little butterfly. It's a solid butterfly, and I'm going to randomly stamp all the way around on that piece. Random stamping is one of my go-to stamping techniques. And making sure you're going off the edges as well. That's okay, I can turn that sheet over. And one more. There we go. Now I'm going to bring in the larger piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp this butterfly, and let me just bring in, it's actually this one here. So we're going to ink that up with the old olive. And I'm going to stamp one large butterfly. And then I'm going to stamp two of the smaller ones. So just like that. Oh, that one actually went over. So the edge of the large one actually just went into that one. So let's just try that again. There we go. So we have the two small butterflies and then the large one. This sheet's heaps big enough, so I don't worry about not having enough room. The next thing we're going to stamp is on the large butterfly. We have a large body, so let's stamp that one down. And on the smaller one we have the small body as well. And while we have the old olive out, I have the sentiment that says, "You've been on my mind," and we're going to stamp that twice. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so there's been plenty of room on this sheet. Let's change the colour into mint macaron. And what we're going to do now is we're going to stamp the large butterfly. And I have, the large butterfly has two coordinating the top and the bottom. So let's ink that up, and I'm stamping off. And then I'm going to stamp down. So it's second generation of colour. Just gives us that really nice light look to it. And then the bottom of that large butterfly, stamping off again. Okay. Now if I bring in that next butterfly, which is the one that we've just used for the old olive sheet, I'm going to clean that up with the beautiful chamois, which needs a very good clean, I think. Had a busy week stamping. Okay, once again we're going to ink up in the mint macaron and stamp off. And let's just stamp these two little butterflies. Okay. Now let's bring that butterfly punch in, and I'm going to punch out that large butterfly first. So these punch bundles make it really easy. That. And the two smaller butterflies. Get rid of that mat so we can see all our pieces. And with this, the sentiment, you can either just stamp one and cut that out if you're good at cutting straight lines. For myself, I'm not real good at it, and I love the classic label punch for this. So what I've done is I'm going to, because the sentiment's a little bit bigger than the punch, I'm going to cut it out so I have a border on the left hand side of the yaw, and that cuts out that one. And then I'm going to punch out the other side, but leaving a border on the right hand side, so where mind is. then all I can just do is bring in my paper snips, and I'm just going to trim these up. So I've got to be "You've been," and then "On my mind." This is a great way to use your punches. Like I said, you don't have to use that punch if you can cut in a lovely straight line. And I can tell you, if I cut it in a straight line, it wouldn't look as beautiful as that. Okay. We have all our pieces together now, so let's bring in all the card kit. I have my piece of A4, and it's a half piece of A4. It's going to be our card front. It's already scored. I'm just going to fold and burnish. And the piece that we embossed with the dot to dot folder, we're just going to pop that up with some dimensionals. So let's pop some dimensionals on the back. And the great thing about these embossing folders is you can use either side. I'll just show you. That's the opposite side. And then we have the raised. So the raised and then the indented side. Quickly take those backings off, and we can stick that straight down to our card front. Has a slight border around the edge. Excellent. I'm going to glue the Whisper White piece, the matting, with our old olive piece, and I'm going to use my Tombow mono glue for that one. So let's just pop that down. It has a nice little border around it as well, just to break down that green. I'm going to glue that one straight down to the card front as well. Slightly to the left rather than the middle. Okay. So with our little pieces, I'm going to fold the butterflies in the middle, so that gives it a really nice little dimension, and it also gives us that little bit of area on the body to stick some glue. So you can use Tombow glue, you could use glue dots, also work. And I'm just going to place that down, holding it just for a couple of seconds. That glue doesn't take very long to stick down. And then my other two butterflies, I'm going to do the same thing, so just pinching and making it fly. A little bit more glue. Stick one of those down. And I'm just using my thumbnail just to hold that in place. Last one. Popping that one down as well. Now the sentiments we're going to pop up with some dimensionals, and I found the sides of the dimensionals worked really well. So let's just cut some down. Three half pieces looks perfect. Okay, take the backings off, and then we can stick that down to that frame. Now if you don't place them down hard, you can move them if they're not in the right spot, so I recommend just placing down really lightly, and then if they're in the right spot, then you can push down a little. That looks really good. Let's pop this one up, and I'm going to hang on to it because I don't want to get rid of that dimension on those butterflies. I'm going to stick 5 down on that. I don't want that to sag at all. just in the middle there. So I actually got this design from a card sketch. There we go. So we have the Granny Apple green organdy ribbon, and I'm just going to do a quick bow, and that's going to tie off the rest of our card. That's a cute little bow. Bring my ribbon scissors in, and I'm just going to cut that. And that sticks down better, ribbon sticks down better with glue dots. So I'll bring one of those in, place that down onto the glue dot. I'm just gonna pick up that whole glue dot so it's all stuck to the back there, and then I can stick that down. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this card. Don't forget to head over to my blog and continue your blog hop journey. There is some wonderful inspiration from fellow demonstrators throughout the blog hop, so please do check that out. I would love it if you left me a comment, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't done already. Okay, until next time, enjoy your day. Bye.